So the first thing you need to do is figure out what you're doing it for. Now, that can be building a business because you want or because you want to give your family a good life, or you want a fancy car, or whatever it is, whatever you're willing to sacrifice for. Your goals are not anybody else's, and people are not going to understand that. And good morning. Welcome to Old Man Energy. I'm your host, Flint Anderson. And if this is your first time with us, thank you for giving us a few minutes of your time. And I hope you find some value here and a reason to come back and even possibly share it with your friends. If you've come back, you are in for more punishment, so to speak. I am looking forward to sharing some stuff with you guys today. I've got a lot of recording to do, but I wanted to get on here and talk about something near and dear to my heart. It is sacrifices. And not so much sacrifice just for the art of sacrificing, but sacrifices as you pursue your dreams. We all have dreams. We all have goals. There's not a person out there that doesn't, but some people act on them and some people don't. And those that act on them, they don't always finish. They don't always run the whole race. They don't get where they want to be, or they give up way too easily. And it's a shame and it's sad, because after you do that so many times, it starts to mess with you. You don't like to look at your spouse or your significant other and have them kind of roll their eyes and, oh my God, here we go again. And if they are supportive, then that wears on them, because you know that they're watching you get frustrated and fail again and again and again. But the thing is that it doesn't matter how many times that you've attempted something and given up, or started something and stopped. You only have to succeed once. Now, that's not to say that you can continue to start and stop, and it'll eventually work. You have to do something different. But every time you start, you learn a little bit more. Every time you go after something, you learn a little bit more. And you eventually reach a point where you don't care what you have to do to get there. You'd rather die, for lack of a better term, than give up this time. And that's the time I want to talk about. And the faster you get there, the more opportunity you have in life for success long term. It requires sacrifice, and it requires a lot of effort and a lot of pain and a lot of suffering. So the first thing you need to do is figure out what you're doing it for. Now, that can be building a business because you want or because you want to give your family a good life, or you want a fancy car, or whatever it is, whatever you're willing to sacrifice for. Your goals are not anybody else's, and people are not going to understand that. The noble goals, I want to make sure my family's good. I want to make sure my grandkids are taken care of, this and that. Those all sound good, but they're not typically enough to get you excited and get you up off the couch. Now, if you want to be a pilot, or you want to have that fancy sports car, you want to have that big truck, or you want to travel all the time, or you just simply don't want to have a boss and work for yourself, that's the stuff that's going to get you excited. And one thing you want to do is you want to tie those more noble goals to the ones that get you excited. And even those closest to you are not always going to understand what excites you. But if they see you working and struggling and striving for things that are important to them, or that are important to you two as a family unit, they're going to get behind those goals. And you know what? By the time you've made the sacrifice and you suffered enough to get to where you want to be, they're not going to be upset that you now get the reward for it, because you've accomplished everything else across the board to make it happen, to make your family's life better, to make your life better, to make their life better. So when you believe in a dream, you will have to work for it, and you will have to make sacrifices for it. And I've talked about it before. I'll say it again. When I was younger and I was seeking out mentors, I used to want them to tell me the good stuff. And I'm sitting here talking to these successful guys about how to make money and this and that. And they're talking about dreams and goals. And I'm like, no. I want to know what you did. Give me the good stuff. Don't tell me that stuff about dreams. But that is the good stuff. That is the secret. There's not a single successful person I know who didn't start out dreaming about more than what they had at the time, or being better than what they were at the time, or growing something, or changing people's lives more than they could at that time. Not a single one. And it's not a secret, but it is hard. And once you get in the middle of it, it's kind of boring. So now you're sacrificing, you're working, you're struggling, you're suffering, and you're doing it over and over and over again. And a lot of times without any kind of reward. You have to be willing to do anything to make your dream and your goal happen, with the understanding that people are not going to understand you. Matter of fact, you're going to make them uncomfortable. They're going to try and stop you. This happens for a couple of reasons. Sometimes you make them uncomfortable because they know that you're going somewhere and your pure effort invalidates their own excuses and their lies that they've been telling themselves. But also sometimes they just don't want to see you get ahead of them. There are genuine people out there who are happy and excited for you. And again, I've never had anybody in a position above me who was more successful than me or made more money than me that looked down on me for struggling and trying to grow and make mistakes over and over again. That derision, that just plain hatred and vitriol comes from people either on your peer group or who are not at the level that you're at. And it's not because they hate you personally. They don't give a rip about you personally, but they do care about the lies that they tell themselves. And anytime they see somebody, especially somebody raising themselves up out of their peer group, they have to have a real honest conversation with themselves, unless they get mad. Oh, well, he's special. Oh, well, they did this. Oh, well, they did that. But they also know that their family's watching, that their children are watching, that their spouse is watching. And if you know them and you see that, you will lose some friendships. It's sad, and it won't be because of your choice, but you're busy. You don't have the same time to engage. And just your very essence of struggle and sacrifice and choices that you now make these people uncomfortable. And that's okay. I hate to see it. I hate to say it because I really believe that anybody that puts their mind to it can have the exact life that they want. And you know what? Not everybody wants the fancy cars and the $1 million house and this and that. Some people, they just want peace. They want to be able to get up on Saturday with their kids and go to the football games. They want to be able to watch their kids play whatever sport, go to all the pageants. They want to get up and take their kids hunting. They want to do whatever it is they want to do with their family. That's what they want to do. Some of them really like building things. I know I got a lot of tradesmen in my companies across the board that these men love what they do. They live a very simple life. They're very happy. And as long as they're paid well and they are able and given an environment to do a good job, they're happy. They're content. And you know what? That's okay because it takes everybody. But the thing is that there are people out there who are not happy, but have decided that they're not going to succeed or that they can't succeed or that the game is rigged or whatever it is. And as soon as you start breaking those barriers and as soon as you start moving on, you start making them uncomfortable. And a lot of times these are your friends. Sometimes it's your family. You got to be willing to put up with the ribbing and just sometimes the out and out almost hatred. And you won't understand why. It's all part of the game. It's all part of it. You keep your head down, work through the boredom, work through the sacrifice, go for the late nights. It's worth it, but it's hard, it's boring, and there's a lot of suffering in it. And the funny thing is, whenever you get to where you think you want to be, you'll look around, you'll enjoy, you say, okay, this is pretty nice. But now that attitude and that work ethic and those skills that you've learned have become a habit. They've become who you are. So now you look around and go, okay, well, I'm here. Now let's see who else we can bring along with us. Let's see out of my friend group or out of my peer group, is there anybody down there that wasn't busting my balls? It wasn't kicking me in the nuts. It wasn't just trying to keep me down. That was looking up and trying to figure it out. Maybe I can teach them. I can help them grow. And if not, then there are people out there like that. There'll be young men that seek you out. There'll be men older than you that seek you out. And I'm using men loosely here, ladies, it works for you too. If there's somebody that's ambitious out there, you know what, then they're going to seek you out. They're going to ask. And you've heard me encourage over and over again. If somebody asks you for help or guidance and they are serious about it, then help them. Sometimes that could be through a paid program that you do, or if you have a specific skill set you want to teach, that's awesome. And sometimes it's just straight through mentorship. And I do both. Because sometimes, you know, they can't afford it. Now, young kids, they need mentorship. They can't necessarily afford it at all. I mean, usually they're still in school. They still need some guidance. So I tell everybody, especially the younger generation that I mentor and that come to me for help and are really struggling wanting to do, I say, okay, your cost of admission for my time is participation. You're going to ask me for help. I'm going to give you some specific help. We're going to work through your goals and your dreams, and I'm going to take my time for no compensation. And as long as I do that, you're going to participate and you're going to give it everything you've got to work forward. So as long as my time is being spent effectively, then I'll continue to spend it and you'll continue to grow and you'll continue to learn. If you want to not do this anymore, then that's fine. Tell me. I'm okay with that. But also, if you stop engaging, you're not doing what you need to do, you're not taking full advantage of the advice that I'm giving you, then I'm going to stop doing it. And that's hard to do sometimes because you really get to attach to these folks and you get to like these folks. But, you know, not everybody has the same drive and the same ethic. And some people get halfway through and then they just don't want to do it anymore. So what I like to say is you can't believe in somebody else's dreams more than they do, and you can't be more committed to their dreams more than they are. So have those difficult conversations with them, both directions, guys. Reach out, talk to the people that are more successful than you. Somebody will take time to mentor you if you really are ambitious and willing to do what you say you're going to do. And then, guys, if you get approached, then help these folks. But remember, don't help anybody ever in a way that makes their problems your own. Their problems are theirs to solve. You can give advice, you can give direction, you can give help. And you know what? I'm not talking about if somebody's drowning, don't reach in the water and pull them out. That's not what I'm talking about. But don't turn other people's problems into yours. It will add stress to your life. It will slow you down, and you're not helping them. They will eventually end up resenting you because at that point, you just become somebody who fixes things for them and makes them feel incompetent. Gratitude at first turns into resentment very, very quickly. Hope this helps, guys. As always, if you are not liking and subscribed to the podcast, then please go do that. You don't want to miss these updates. We put some bonus episodes out. And follow us on all the social media platforms. We post different content daily everywhere, trying to give as much back as you guys can stand and can handle. And that's what keeps it going. Just throw us some comments. If you want to hear us talk about anything, then please throw them down in the comments. Send us a message at theoldmanenergy@gmail.com. And yeah, love you guys. Thanks. Peace.